welcome to Bendy, a podcast about being flexible in all of the ways that means. Thanks for joining us. Oh no! My name is Andy Young, and I'm one of your dreamy, fantastical hosts. Joining me, as always, is our other dreamy and fantastical host, Beth Martin. Beth, a pleasure as always. What's the crack?
So for anyone who's actually been following along for the last 5 months, I'm so sorry, you guys. I finally went down to Tijuana, and I got the stem cells, and I paid the money, and I feel better. So,
I was going to say the system works, but I guess the system doesn't work because you had to go to Mexico.
Yeah, the system, I mean, the
works.
larger universal system, right? That I think is in order, but just, once you throw humans and governments into it, then So basically, I walked across the border. I got a cab. It's weird going across the border. You've done that walk. So there's several entrances to Tijuana. I went to it's called the San Ysidro one, which is probably but it's your cell phone stops working, the radio goes off, and it's just this weird deafening silence that's everywhere. You feel like you're going somewhere different. And then you crest over this hill, and Tijuana's right there with the arch and all the buildings, and so it's just a weird experience. And then you're walking through, and there's barbed wire and walls, and it's very welcoming on both sides. I'm being facetious. So
I remember taking a picture of the gate, and it is really intense.
It's intense.
You're
and there's definitely military that ride around to the back of military vehicles, standing up in the back, and I dig all that shit. I'm this is different. This is different. But I also I wasn't feeling well, and I wasn't sure because sometimes I get really bad migraines. Anyway, so I get to the place. They're go up to the 8th floor. I go up to the 8th floor, and it's a whole it's just an IV. It's nothing, it's not they're taking, because in the States you have to take out your own bone marrow. It's a whole surgery. So it's nothing like that.
Jeez.
Super easy. A lot of money. I don't want to think about that too much, but I do feel better already. It's weird. I got an appetite already. My eyesight has gotten better. Mm-hmm. My hair grew 2 inches, not really, but it's going to. I could just feel, it feels okay. The only thing I can describe it as, I know you've been to places where you stick your feet in the feeder fish, and the fish pick off the dead skin. That's what it feels like, but it's your whole body. You feel this rush of seeking and destroying of dead cells, and replacing it with happy baby cells. So anyways,
I love it.
I know.
It's very Star Trek. Mm-hmm. It's very kind of some futuristic shit.
Yeah. So I'm happy to be here. Happy to be here.
And if stem cells want to sponsor the podcast,
that would be amazing.
Please
that will never happen.
That would be great, honestly.
But you know what's fucked up? I had a conversation with my regular doctor here in Cali, and I was I've been nauseous, and I was I need anti-nausea medication, and she was okay. She was I could get you into a long COVID clinic, but they're shutting most of them down, and at this point you found your medicine. And I was I know, I just wish that stem cells were legal and insurance would cover it in the United States. And she's I know, right? Yeah. So I'll get that prescription for your anti-nausea med. Anything else I can do for you? And I was nope, because you can't do anything else. And she's nope. And I was ha ha ha. It's so fucked up.
It really blows and is insane. Mm-hmm. Yes, truly. Yep.
So that's the haps.
Okay, I love it. Well, I'm glad to hear it. I mean, it's a good, despite the, I suppose it's kind of onerous having to cross the border and stuff like that. But despite that, it was a good outcome, and that's what we're looking for.
And now I have global entry, so it's called the Century Pass, where
was it a lot quicker then to get back?
It took me the first time I went across, I did not have that, and it took an hour and a half, I think. On foot. We drove once, and that was a 3.5 hour wait. So for walk across Century Pass, it took me 5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, mine was 2 hours, that time I did it. So that was no joke.
Yeah.
And then
they were he was just stay to the left, or stay to the right, or whatever. And I was okay. But yeah, the clinic drove me back right to the border, walked across. There was like all this fun paraphernalia for sale, and I bought none of
Yeah.
it and just like ran to the car. And I was like, that was too easy. That was too easy.
Yeah, that was good. Well, I'm
Now I
glad
want to
you're-
go every week.
Yeah.
Anyways, but I'm just a
okay.
junkie, so.
Yeah, this is true. But, you know, I mean, like, it is a junkie for something that is, you know, absolutely provably good for your
I
health,
know,
you know?
I
So,
know.
like, I don't know. But anyway. Okay, it's good news. So, this past weekend, since I last saw you, I went to Bealtona Festival again.
Ooh.
Remember I talked to you about this last year?
Because you were like, you could come to this or you could come to the jazz festival.
Yes, that was your options. Yeah. Last year, yeah. It was lovely, really fantastic. We had another beautiful day for it. Really kind of cool.
Good.
Did the went with my girlfriend. She loved it as well. And you know what's great about it is that it is family friendly and it's not like super intense the way kind of other festivals can be. Did the storytelling stuff again, which was really lovely, and I think I was able to take more of it on board because like last year I was like off my face with mushrooms.
Yeah.
And this year, I was actually, really kind of... I mean, like, I did feel spiritually connected to the land.
Yeah.
I think possibly connected to the mushrooms, but also, it was nice actually being coherent enough that I could listen and absorb stories and things. But yeah, it was really beautiful once again. I think that... also, my outfit was on point. I had my utility kilt, and once again,
Yay.
my poncho, which you've seen that I got from Mexico.
Yay!
And there was so many people with ponchos that ruled. I loved it. But the one thing I'll say that I again really had a good time. And it was really lovely this year, but it felt like the scale was slightly smaller, like they had budget cuts or something like that this year. I mean, I don't know whether last year was like an anniversary thing or something, but they had like this kind of, I don't know who he was. I think if I knew more about,
Did they have to pay for like a more famous person to show up?
No, because like this cost has went up since last year, so I don't know what's going on. But yeah, but anyway, they had a guy speak, and he was like, he's an influential Irish, I think, writer or like intellectual. I hadn't heard of him, but like he apparently like is, and he was speaking about the potency and the power of like the Bealtona Festival and how it felt like a vibrant time for Ireland, and I really like that. They had like storytellers telling stories just before the fire was lit, and things like that, and the parade seemed bigger last year, but so I don't know what the fundamental difference was, but it just felt smaller. But that's also lovely in its own way because it was kind of more intimate.
Totally.
And still immaculate vibes, which is not something that you can easily find at a festival
Or recreate year after year.
Yes.
Like 2 years in a row of having a good... Like, that's never happened to me. Like, it was better last year.
Yes,
It will be better next year, right?
And like, I understand that I am kind of saying that, but at the same time, like I thought I had a lovely time both years.
There you
know
go.
what I mean? So it was interesting.
Good
So
job,
that's all that
event
matters.
promoter planners.
Yep. So they did great. The other thing
They
I've done,
light
which I
something
think is
on
like
fire, right?
they had lit a ton of stuff on fire. So well, basically they light a bonfire, and there's like bonfires on different sort of hills in the surrounding area, and it's really kind of beautiful to connect into that. So it was really nice.
That's epic.
The other thing, which is I think is the opposite of this, is I went to see Warfare last night.
Is it
Warfare
a movie?
It is a movie.
Okay.
It is deeply on chill. It is let me see. How do I describe Warfare? Warfare it's the latest movie by Alex Garland, who did like Civil War and things like that. I really loved Civil War.
I did. Yes, I remember that. Okay.
But the thing about Warfare is, I also really love Annihilation, which he did. The thing about Warfare is that it's kind of, it was touted as the most realistic war film ever made. Essentially, it is a dramatization of this Navy SEAL sniper unit that is like put into place in enemy territory. They get discovered, they get attacked, and it's about the actual conflict. And apparently everything in the film is based on memories of actual soldiers who were in the conflict itself. So it's kind of really good in that it's such a, great depiction of how mundane these things often are, how whenever big things happen, they are horrifying and terrible and like, you know, completely destructive, rather than like, you know, big, you know, redemptive sort of like swelling music sort of moments. Like there's a couple of like big moments that happen in it that are like really kind of serious. Like even a couple of people getting injured is this really heavy shit that really causes so many like, you know, logistical headaches and things like that. But yeah, really good stuff. But like I wonder, is punishing too strong a word to use? A tough watching experience, I would say, but one that I'm glad I had, and one that I'm glad I had in the cinema, because it's just like orally, really kind of like powerful as well.
Would you watch it again, do you think?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
No.
I have like Schindler's List. Like I feel like I should, but it's so, I remember being in, we had to go watch it, I think in middle school, like as a field trip, and they were like, we're going to go do this. And my mom was like, I'm not signing this permission slip. And I was like, Mom, like I can't, what am I going to do? Like sit in school by myself and everyone else is there. I told her that like this year. I was like, do you remember you wouldn't sign the permission slip for that? And she was like, really? Like I wasn't going to educate you on this? Like what an idiot. And she was like, I'm sure I was just probably trying to protect you. But, so it's like, yeah, I get that feeling of like needed to see it, but maybe can't see it again.
I heard the podcast I bang on about, the movie podcast I listen to a lot of.
Saving Private Ryan does that to me too. Like I remember I like started crying in the very beginning when the old guy like walks over to the grave and just like starts crying, and then I was like, oh fuck, I'm done for, and it's like 5 minutes in.
And then like one of the most searingly brutal sort of opening sequences of all time as well, like the attack on the D-Day sort of attack is
attack on Normandy, insane. Which I'm embarrassed to say for a long time didn't know that was France. Haha.
I mean, like you know, where did you think it was?
Didn't know. They just there. It was just there.
Europe. Yeah. I love it.
Eurasia.
Eurasia. Yeah. I mean, yeah. You know.
I'm sorry, everyone. I'm literally joking.
She is. I think I saw them. They were talking about Schindler's List in the podcast I listened to, and they were saying how even though it's very heavy subject matter, because Steven Spielberg is such a exciting filmmaker, it's still really
holds up. I tried last year. Watchable. I was like, gotta do it, and I got maybe 10 minutes in, and I was just like, this is too...
Like. I don't think I would reach for it myself, but if somebody was like, do you want to watch it? I'd be like, okay, yeah, I'll watch it, you know. But like, I don't think I would reach for it, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay. Shall we move on to what's occurring? Do you have any what's occurring?
I do. I had two lovely people that sent me videos of crows.
Hell yeah. Oh yeah, I know.
And I wasn't going to be like, I wasn't going to do it again, but guess who's outside?
Right
now there's two of them.
Hell yeah.
So now I'm like, my chances I think are, if there was one, I think I could make it happen, but like, I don't know if I can do two.
No, but this is you getting your full murder. You're gonna get murder crows. That's what you want.
Crows. They would just follow me around. I'd be like a crone. That's what I really want to be.
Oh, that's sweet. You need like some sort of robe, some sort of potted robe, so they can actually nest in your like shoulders and arms and stuff.
I have the hair for it. It's like a giant bird nest anyway, so
I love it.
Anyways, yes. So thank you.
I had mine was so going back to our local history episode that we did. Yes. So one of my friends who is based in Scotland, our friend who contacts us a lot about the podcast, was telling me that which we love, by the way.
Love it. It's the best.
We do love it. I keep it coming.
Weeks go by and I hear nothing, and I'm like, should I check in on him and make sure he's okay?
No. But anyway, he sent me a message about. So we talked about like the Trainspotting 2 in Trainspotting 2 where they go to the bar and there's all the people who support King Billy, and because it was 1690 was the year that it happened, a lot of them have that as their pin code. So he was telling me, and I did not know this, that for a long time, bars that, you know, in Glasgow or in Scotland that were bars for like Protestants and people who supported King Billy and blah blah blah, would charge £3 £3 and 10 pence for a pint, so that if you gave them £20 note,
they would give
you get £16 and 90 pence change.
Wow.
Because,
that's
right?
Fascinating.
It's a level of dedication
Yes.
that I love to see.
Yes.
And I'm like, they're bound to do that. They're bound to do that here. But like, I've never heard of it before, but it made me so happy to hear. I was like, yes, you fucking weebs. And they would call me a nerd. Anyway, I mean, I am a nerd. All right, let's not go crazy. But anyway, okay.
That's a good one.
Shall we move on? Isn't it?
Yes.
Shall we move on to our topic?
We can. So I thought of this the other night. I started watching the rehearsal. And I was like, and so I was like, start with season 1. And then I was like, no, like season 2 was like about something that's like interesting and applies to right now, which is about like airplane safety. So then I bumped over to season 2, but I was like this guy, and like part of the way into like the first episode of season 2, he's kind of like, so far this is a comedy show and I've said nothing that's comedic at all, right? This is not funny. And it's not. And I was like, okay, so here is this guy who asked HBO for money to do whatever he wanted, and they were like, okay. And I was like, I wish that could happen to me. And then I was like, what other things do I wish that could just like randomly happen? If they could happen for him, it can probably happen for anybody, right? Straight. So then I was like, well, what if Andy and I just sat down and talked about all the like random things that like, even if it wasn't possible, we could still wish for?
I like it. Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah. And when putting this together, and Beth suggested to me, I was like, do I go wild or do I go...
Yeah.
At least quasi-realistic.
Yeah.
And I think I've got a mixture of both.
Me too. Okay, I went a little further. So there are many ways to make a wish. Mm-hmm. So I'll give you an example maybe of a few of these ways that you make wishes and see if like your country does them or if it's just something that we do here. Mm-hmm. Okay? Because like that whole thing is that's a whole nother episode, but I thought we could kind of merge them into one.
Yeah.
So, do you want to talk about your wish? Okay, so...
Yes.
Okay, touch blue and your wish will come true. So touch something blue right now.
Ooh, no. Yeah. I've never heard of that one before.
Me neither.
Wow. Okay.
So I think it's probably like maybe back in the day when people... I don't know. I mean, that's more of like a wedding thing, right?
Yeah. I suppose that's true. What the something borrowed, something blue of weddings. Yeah. So like, it's interesting because, it's reminding me of the at the Fire Festival is it a place called Ushnacht?
Ushnacht.
Ushnacht.
Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, here's a question.
Did you?
Question. Did I say that right? So there is and I'm going to mess this up, but essentially, like, there is a thing that you do if you walk around the stone clockwise. You walk around it 3 times with your hand held out, and basically, at various in each of those rotations, I think you ask for something. Something you're thrown away, something you want, something you wish for, and what you're going to do to achieve it. I believe I can't remember, something along those lines. Cool. So it is kind of a wish, but it's also a wish with the understanding that you're going to make that into a reality. Like
you have to promise.
Yeah, like promise, but also take action. Do you know what I mean? Not just expect it to land in your lap, which I think is quite nice.
Yeah, I yes. Like you have to actually go to buy the lottery ticket. It's not going to show up at your door.
Exactly.
Speaking of which, this is totally off topic. It was Mother's Day this weekend in the States.
Oh, yeah.
And I got the 2 things I love most in the world. Scratchers, which are like little gambling tickets.
Yep, we have them.
And fruit snacks.
Ooh, nice.
And the kids are like, we get to gamble. And I'm like, you sure do, kids.
I think it's so funny. Like, some of the Pets Therapy kids I work with are like, whenever I have like a push your luck game, they're like, it's gambling. Yeah. I'm like, it's not gambling. We're not spending money. Nobody's bought anything. Nobody's going to be losing anything. Please stop saying that we're gambling, because that will get me
right.
And then they just said more, of course. So it's like,
okay, so touch something blue. I touch something blue. And then tell me a wish.
Okay. Wait. Are you asking me to tell you a wish now?
Yeah.
Okay. So my number one wish in my life is that I wish money wasn't an issue.
Yeah.
More than anything else, I wish it wasn't this constant oppressive drive that I have to put so much of my energy into because it sucks. And like, I'm grateful that I'm kind of in the position that I'm in, that I don't maybe need quite as much money as maybe a lot of other people would, because, you know, I don't have dependents and things like that. But it still sucks ass, honestly, and it's...
I would agree with that. Yeah, it's on my list. Just like enough, right? Enough that you don't have to like worry about things like, can I get stem cells? Sorry.
Yes.
I'm obsessed. Or yeah, just like, can I afford if the pet that I love like gets sick, you know? Because it's never a good time for that.
No, it sure isn't. No, absolutely, and it's just so I mean, is restrictive the right word? I just think it is for the vast majority of people, a constant need to think about this, to worry about this, you know, and like, what happens if, you know, and like, because of the nature of the kind of work that I'm doing, a lot of it feels quite ephemeral and could like drop away at any second, so it's like a constant stress, you know.
Yes. I can tell
like,
it's doing good things for you.
Right? Yeah, I know. You know me, like stress free and happy.
Right.
But yeah, so that was the first one I had kind of thought about and put down.
Okay, I'll give you one of mine. I wish I could communicate with nice ghosts.
I like
because right, then that also means that something does happen after death. So that's kind of like a two birds wish. Yes, without actually wishing to know that, then that would be proof, right?
That would be a lot of exciting knowledge. I mean, like, that would be a lot of...
And it would be so nice.
I mean, like, I suppose it would answer questions, and it would also, like,
bring up more.
Throw up a load more questions.
Right,
yeah, so it's interesting.
Yeah.
I suppose you could ask the ghosts, you know, if they're nice.
They would want to tell me, right? That's what I thought.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
I like it. Okay, that's a good one.
Okay, so make a wish each time you eat a green M&M.
Holy crap. I mean, that'd be a lot of wishes.
I know.
Potentially.
I know. I never knew this.
Jeez. Okay.
So who was the band? Was it Metallica? That was like, no, Rolling Stones, one of them.
That had
so they requested you get what's called a tech writer, which you present to whatever, you're a musician or a comedian or whatever, and you give the venue your writer, and it's like, these are all the things I want, and they wanted to make sure that these venues were actually reading the writer, and one of the things in the writer was they wanted a bowl that only had green M&Ms in it, and so like certain venues would do it and other ones wouldn't, and it was like funny for them. But like, I used to have to work with tech writers, and that would have pissed me the fuck off.
Yeah, no, it's so I was curious.
Yes.
I just looked this up because like, who was it? It was Van Halen apparently.
Okay. Well,
because like I wasn't sure about that myself.
That makes more sense.
But apparently, like the whole thing, I remember reading about it was like years ago, and it was like they were just doing it to make sure that people had read their writer. I think, but like it's still they still have to do it. You know what I mean? If they're reading the writer, they're still having to do all this shit.
Yes.
Like some poor bastard has to like sort out M&Ms. But also you know that somebody's had their hands all over those M&Ms. I don't know if I want those M&Ms particularly.
Well, okay, if you can make a wish every time you eat a green M&M, I used to think Van Halen was silly for wanting that in their writer, and now I'm like, oh, maybe they know something about green M&Ms.
Maybe they do.
And that's a lot of wishes. And they were, you know.
They were just like, they wanted all those wishes fulfilled. They were doing pretty freaking good, at least for a while there. So like, maybe that's why.
And now we have Cabo Wabo tequila.
Thank God.
Okay, so I have no M&Ms to share, but let's pretend that we just did that, and then I'm going to tell you a wish, and you tell me a wish. Okay, mine's really lame or really awesome. I wish to be invited to Tom Holland and Zendaya's wedding.
I like Thanks. It. I literally just very recently watched a video of him, Tom Holland doing the umbrella dance, and Zendaya sort of like being like,
Yes.
Whenever he came out in drag
Yes.
and just losing her freaking
It was
mind.
like I watched it last night. When I'm sad, I watch that because
It's good.
they're so adorable, and he does such an
They are.
amazing job of doing a
does.
Rihanna impression. His dancing, like, but starting it with singing in the rain, and like, yeah, it was awesome. And I think
pretty fantastic,
I've
like-
heard him say that that's like the thing that most people remember him for.
Wow.
I know.
So interesting.
Yeah. Not being
Considering
Spider-Man.
he's like
being
Spider-Man,
Rihanna.
yeah. I mean, like, other than Spider-Man, I can't think of other things really, but like that, that's a good one.
So if I got a +1, if this does happen, I'll find a green M&M somewhere in the house. Maybe I'll take you. We'll see.
Hell yeah,
I know.
please. I want to go to that.
I just
wedding.
want to see, like what her wedding dress is going to look like.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think ultimately it would, like, suck because, we get there and be like, we don't know any of these people.
Yeah.
There'd be lots of celebs there. I suppose we could just, like, awkwardly, like, hi.
That's what we would do, and it would be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be fine. You're right. Okay. I like it. Okay.
Tell me which.
So, I wish it was a little bit taller. I wish it was a taller. I wish I had a girl. If it did, I would call her. I wish I had a rabbit and a cat with a bat. I just, I was determined whenever I was writing this down to be like, how far can I go?
Yes.
Without looking up lyrics.
I can only do Ice Ice Baby.
A couple of lines.
That's pretty good.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oof,
yeah.
that's a tough one.
And a little bit of Baby Got Back, but
That's a tough. So my other one, geez, mine aren't as much fun. I'm gonna think of some fun ones as we go.
Okay.
Right. I wish. Right.
Yeah.
That the general population was able to critically think better.
Wouldn't that be nice? I remember
Right?
taking all these psychology classes about mob mentality
Yeah.
and being like, but what? Yeah, right? What if we could use mob mentality for good
That would be
instead of
nice.
pitchforking?
Yeah. Or just like, or also, just at a bare minimum, kind of go, what if I'm wrong?
Mm-hmm.
And also, if I am wrong, that's okay.
I can always
would be
change my
huge.
mind.
Yeah.
And that
And I
would be
can go,
okay.
Yeah, and people will go, well, you said that sort of thing yesterday. They will do that,
Mm.
but like, that's their problem. Honestly, they are unable to critically think.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's I mean, like, I now understand why it's not something that people can do. It's dangerous to a lot of our like political structures and things like that. So
Yes.
I get why it isn't really taught, but it also is kind of like really sad that it isn't as well. So yeah. Anyway. Right.
Yeah.
I think they're more fun ones for the next
Okay.
one.
Okay. So, okay. Make a wish when you see 3 birds on a telephone wire.
Okay.
And I don't know if that's because of Bob Marley and his 3 Little
Okay.
Birds song. But they were pitching by his doorstep, not on a telephone wire. But I can get behind that. We have a lot of birds. We don't really have many telephone wires here. They buried all the cables. So this must be
really?
this must be an older one. Yeah, they buried all the like fiber optic.
Why?
Oh. Because trees.
Let's see.
You guys don't have trees, so
Well, we do some, but I understand. I suppose like you have more erratic weather conditions, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
So that kind of makes sense.
Yep. No, it was 102 over the weekend with like the Santa Ana winds coming. So it was like hot, and we were like trying to get shit out of the pool so we could have a pool party. And Mike was like, God damn it, this is fucking bullshit. So anyways, that has nothing to do with anything. But 3 birds on a telephone. I will say, like, it could be a power line too. It doesn't have to be just a telephone line, because I don't know the difference. Do you?
That's a good question. I think no, I don't.
That's
think
a
I
terrible
do.
question. But thank you for making me feel better.
I mean, like, I think. Geez, that's I don't know. I'm trying to think, like, because you've really got my mind thinking here whenever you're like talking about stuff going underground, and I'm like, I think it's just our electrical wires that are above ground now, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
But also, I don't care.
Right.
That
Fair
much.
point.
There's wires up there. It's fine. It's fine. It's all fine. It's normal. It's fine. Okay. I wish I was Spider-Man.
I love that for you. I could get behind that.
good.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
He's a nerd.
But he's
a
like
nerd.
the
I mean,
sweetest kind of. Like if there,
he's a good
I
boy.
would say if anybody would be Spider-Man, it would be you.
Yeah, I think I have.
Like, because he's a little like this. Like he doesn't really want it, but he's got to have.
Yep.
It's like great power, great
And
responsibility.
even if he's like beat to shit, he gets up and he does it anyway because he's got to do it because he's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So, and I relate to that a lot.
Yeah.
Considering how,
Like, have you
relentlessly
thought this
I
since
move
you
forwards.
picked it up as a kid, and
yeah.
you were like, "Oh, this could be me."
Like, I think I certainly talked before about how influential Spider-Man comics were and Spider-Man generally as a person in the comics was on my growth as a kid.
Yeah.
Like it really spoke to me. So like I really love with great power comes great responsibility. I think there's like, funky aspects of that potentially, but I kind of like it within the context of what Spider-Man is.
Mm-hmm.
I like I think that also, like, even though it's like fairly moral, it's also kind of like taking things into your own hands and like doing what's right sort of thing, no matter the odds stacked against you, etc., which is definitely something that I have always strongly kind of vibed with.
You love costumes.
I love costumes. I do.
So like the creation of the costume, like the montage of that would be epic.
Yeah. I also like doing shit and not necessarily getting praise and
Totally.
stuff for it. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like I don't. That's not why I'm doing it
Yeah.
as well, which is quite a Spider-Man thing, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Fucking wish it was
I
Spider-Man.
can see it. I can see it.
I keep like trying to arrange to get bit by radioactive things, but no dice so far.
I will see what I can do there.
I'll literally take anything. It doesn't have to be a spider. Like it just
Okay, so some of these I've never heard of. This one's weird. Put a watermelon seed on your forehead and make a wish before it falls off. Do you guys have watermelons?
We do, but not. I don't think they're grown here.
Yeah.
But we have access to
They
them.
get imported. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
I've never heard that one, and I've eaten a lot of watermelon in my life.
Nope.
So I wish that I could do astral project. That I could astral project.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I was like I wish I could fly, and then I was like no, like what if I got tired? But if I could like fly outside of my body, I could nap at the same time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then like fly around and check stuff out and be a total creep and spy on everyone.
Yep.
That would be amazing.
Something in the air with
Right?
binoculars.
Right? So I wish for that. And that, some
it.
people think they can do it. So that's like not that far out of reality.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, yeah. Yeah, that's a good one.
I just spit all over myself and it was like a loogie. I'm sorry. Ew.
That's quite alright.
Sorry.
That's quite alright.
I wish that didn't happen.
We'll definitely not video clip this bit. Wink. Okay. So, I wish I had an extra day in the week that nobody else knew about. That was just my day.
That's a good one.
It would be nice. I would, play a lot of video games. I would hopefully get some work done as well. Like not like work, but like creative work done. Do you know what I mean? Like stuff that I actually find time for.
Totally.
Those things. Whether that's writing something again or, getting to work on my decks and things like that. Those sorts of things. Those sorts of pursuits that I just never have the time for. So yeah, that would be sweet.
That is 8 days in a week.
Yeah.
But a day that.
But again,
it's like time and space fold, and it's just like your little
time
pocket.
space fold that only I have access to. Yeah. And but like still all of my shit works, right?
Right.
Like,
right.
My computer works. My I can read books and Kindle and things like that.
Okay.
But like my phone, it's okay if my phone doesn't work.
Right. I was gonna
Okay
say, like, which of the electronics would you want to hold on to?
Yeah, not my phone.
Okay. This one's okay. Some of these, like obviously the birthday cake one, first star you see. Have you done that one? Make a wish on the first star you see at night.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so there's the whole rhyme for that. Star bright, Starlight, Starbright, Star, I see tonight. I wish I may, I wish I might. Have this wish I wish tonight. Have you heard that?
Yep.
Okay.
What is that? I don't know where I know that from, but I do know it, yeah.
It's kind of like we're born knowing certain things. That rhyme is one of them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I wish I had a pig. You know this.
Yes, we've talked about this before, actually, now you mention it. I mean, why not?
I know, they're so cute. And like, I had this dream, like I could just throw like food out the kitchen window and the pig would like be outside and be like, yeah, it's snack time. And it would be like this fun thing that we would do. And the crow would come and like ride on the pig's back. So
that would be nice.
I know. The menagerie.
Okay. Yeah, all right. I know. I mean, like, you do need more animals. Your animal numbers.
They're on the decline. I know. I know.
You need to get those animal numbers back up.
It's probably going to be like a hamster or something, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll see.
So, like, yeah, you know, pigs need homes.
They do.
You got a big back garden.
Yeah, right.
I'd say pigs would eat a lot, though, right? I mean, you suppose you can just feed them scraps, basically, can't you? And they're like, let's go.
I don't know. Tell me someone who has pigs. What do pigs eat? I assume they, it's like you've heard of, like, the pig trough. And I remember, like, reading Charlotte's Web. And it was, like, this pig slop trough. And it was just everything goes in there, right?
Like, yeah.
My mom,
I mean, it's my understanding.
Yes. It's a...
With the, like, food waste bins, because we have, like, 3 different kinds of trash collection, which is, like, general waste, recyclables, and food waste. Mm-hmm. And it was my understanding that essentially food waste was just given to pigs. But I don't know whether that's true or not, or whether it's used for compost or whatever. Whoa. But, yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, I could be wrong. I don't know where I heard that from or how true that is, but yeah. I mean, like, I'm not sure.
Ours is, it's recycling, like, general landfill, and then, like, yard clippings.
Oh,
but you could do, okay, so you have 4, but, like, no one composts out here. And that may be honestly because of, like, fires, because of the heat that can be generated, can actually start a fire.
The food waste actually goes, now I think about it, the food waste actually goes into the garden clippings and things like that, so I don't know, probably for compost, I don't know.
Okay, I just said something that's probably inaccurate. Can compost start fires? Why don't you look in your mind?
There is something about one of the elements of compost being used in bombs and things like that.
Because of the heat, right? And I remember, like, taking a compost class and, like, they would put a thermometer in the center of the compost and it would be, like, hundreds of degrees. And that creates all the bacteria that, like, eats all the food and then poops it out and makes dirt.
So, like, whenever I look into my mind palace, what's coming up is that it's refers to a climate-related instability where rapid global warming could lead to a surge of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere from peatlands and other soil-based organic matter. So,
no.
My mind palace is being no help. But there's definitely something, or is it fertilizer maybe, I think, which might be a different thing. Oh, my word, I'm sure everybody's loving it.
I know. Didn't you want to know about compost today?
But there's something that is inherently ammonium nitrate, which is a type of fertilizer. It is dangerous and is combustible, apparently.
Got it.
So yeah, that's what do you call him? Timothy McVeigh did a deadly combination of agricultural fertilizer and diesel fuel and other chemicals for the bombing in the FBI building.
Great. Oklahoma City.
So we're not following in great footsteps here,
What's your wish?
I wish I was going. What I've written down here is I wish I could go back to a pager. To be clear, I've never had a pager, but I wish I could not have my phone. Instead, I have a thing that if people needed to reach me in emergencies, they could.
Yes.
And otherwise, like, I just have to see you in person, or I could maybe write people a letter. I mean, with all that free time.
Yeah. With your extra day.
I probably would have time. Yeah. You have an extra day. I probably could start writing letters again. That'd be nice. I mean, I've only written like 3 letters in my life.
I wrote something similar. I said that CDs were still the way to listen to music and there was like no Spotify. And then I also wrote I would get rid of AI. Because the Pope said that is the greatest challenge to humanity. And he's been in that job for 3 days, so...
I think it is a nightmare for a number of different reasons. I think it's like, both... I think the energy draw is ludicrous.
I'm
honestly.
I'm like totally like I wonder how my life would be different if I didn't have the phone and like the internet. Not the I guess yeah, maybe the internet too. Like I just miss going to a CD store and buying CDs.
Yeah. Like I definitely like having people, discovering people that I can trust to like curate things for me, both
Totally.
like friends versus,
I'd
also
be like, I
like
made you a mixed
radio
CD.
personalities. Yes.
You'll be like,
And it's like,
yay!
ooh,
So
okay.
exciting.
But it's also like, very much with the internet and with all these things, it's like once Pandora's box was opened,
Yeah. It probably,
or any hope
yeah, it started with the pager,
of
Andy.
the dead. What? Well, I mean, like, let's go back. Let's go back with Peter. Stay
Mike
there.
had a pager.
Nice.
I had a pager actually. I forgot
Oh,
about that.
really?
Yeah, for like a job, but it was super helpful, and I would find a phone and then call the person back.
I mean, exactly. And like, that feels like a much better system to me because it's. I think what I really struggle with about phones is how intrusive they are. Is how like no matter where I am, it's inescapable.
Yes.
It will just.
Do you have
It can.
people that like are like wanting an immediate response and they don't? Because I know you like you don't. You and I are the same. My phone is on silent all the time. I check it probably like once an hour because I have kids in
Yeah.
school. Otherwise, I wouldn't. And sometimes, some days I'll be like, I'm not going to respond to text for like, I'll do them all at once.
Yes, that's what I tend to
Yeah.
do. Like I mean, like obviously I don't have any dependents and stuff like that, so I'm lucky in that regard. But it's like I think probably somewhat similar to yourself. Maybe every hour, maybe every couple of hours. Like if I'm doing something, it's just like my phone is always in do not disturb. But like, I think you asked whether it was people. Most of the people who know me well enough know that that's just my relationship with my phone, and are kind of okay with that. Like some people would prefer a faster response, but it's just it's never going to be. I think I had a bit more of a relationship like that with my phone years and years ago, but like for a long time now, that's how it's been, and I do not intend to change that because it is it's detrimental to my mental health. It being like the few times that I've taken off do not disturb and silent mode, I find it really triggering and really making me insane so quickly. It's just like ding ding. I'm like
Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay.
no thanks.
No thanks. I like it. Same Z's. Same wish. Okay, so this one I didn't know. Make a wish on a new pair of shoes before you wear them for the first time.
Oh
I
really?
like that. Like
Yeah, that's nice because they're taking
they're
you places.
taking you places. I wish I had the year that like someone created these and made them a thing, or like some of them disappeared, right? Because I've literally
Yes.
never made a wish on a pair of shoes, but I would totally do that.
It's nice.
Yeah. So I wish. What do I wish? Why don't you go first? Oh,
So yeah.
okay.
Go ahead.
Nope, I think I got one. I wish to sit in on a conclave.
That does not.
The movie was
surprise me
not
in the
enough.
slightest.
I want to like be there and like.
Because because you were so excited for the most recent one. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like I know it was like we were talking about sports betting on it
Yeah.
and things like that.
I saw a meme and it was just like orange smoke and everyone's like, no. And I was like, ha ha ha.
What orange smoke means that it's over.
No, it would mean that Donald Trump was Pope.
I see.
Sorry.
I see.
So yeah,
Wow,
so
okay.
I don't remember for the movie. I have to watch it again. But yeah, it's like or black smoke means no consensus. White smoke means new Pope.
Yes.
And I'm
yes,
probably
yes.
saying it backwards, so someone correct me.
Yeah, who knows? Like, but there's a whole system. Yeah, I mean, I bet you it wouldn't be as fun or sexy as Conclave the movie.
Totally.
It would just be a bunch of old dudes shuffling about the place.
Yeah. Getting drunk and being mad
Right.
and
Yeah.
but maybe there are turtles. I don't know.
Maybe they're turtles. I'd say that's gotta be
It's
true,
too
right?
weird. Okay, so in the movie, they're like one of the popes from hundreds of years ago or whatever really liked turtles, so they're just like turtles all over the Vatican. I don't know if this is true, but like as you're saying, I think it's too weird to not be like truth being better than fiction.
It feels like a very very odd, specific for there not to be some truth there. Yeah.
I will research this and I will
Yeah, do
report
please.
back onto whether or not there are turtles in the Vatican.
I think a general report on what animals are in the Vatican would be interesting. Do you know what I mean? Like, I would love to know.
Right, like the Tower of London. Did you learn that?
Yeah, the crows.
No. So I don't remember
No?
which king, but like, or which kings decided, or queens decided that they wanted like, basically kind of like an ark. So they have all these like wire sculptures at the Tower of London, like to show you what, like, oh, they had polar bears and they had lions and they had like all these like animals that lived there. And I was like, that's so cool.
That'll be good in the coming apocalypse.
I know.
Right. And the long ago, look at all these animals.
Okay, yes. So, what you got?
In lieu of money still being around.
Yes.
I wish that certain professions were paid better.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Education, health, and all sorts of health, mental and physical health. I think creative people should be paid better, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, equal wages.
In that order, probably.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I would agree with that. I think, yeah, it's like sometimes you go places and you see these like monstrosity of a house and it's gorgeous, but you're just like, who can afford this? Like,
yeah.
And what did they do, right? And they like, they work in a building. Maybe they're a doctor, but depending. Maybe they're an anesthesiologist. Mm-hmm. But on the whole, it's like no one's doing anything that's worthy of making, $1 billion a year or whatever.
Yeah, this is so true.
Did you see that Bill Gates is giving away his fortune
Yep.
while he's still alive? $200 billion?
Yeah. Bill Gates rocks.
I know. I was like, can we ask him for some money?
Yeah, that's true. We do need it.
We're just trying to make a nice hour for people to enjoy.
He was throwing it around. But, like, it's so upsetting that, like, he's the one who's everybody's like, oh, he's the microchip guy trying to put microchips in, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas, like...
And, like, what was his relationship with Epstein?
Yes. Whereas it's like, there's another guy you should maybe be looking at. Mm-hmm. He probably had an interesting relationship with Epstein. Mm-hmm. Anyway. Mm-hmm. Multiple other guys, for that matter, honestly. Mm-hmm.
No, that's a good one. That's a good... That's, like... Mine are very selfish and, like...
No, I have had I've wanted a full day for myself. In fairness,
yes,
I wanted to be Spider-Man. So
that's true.
I'm not covering myself in glory here particularly, but like I feel like they are other things that I have another one that's a bit like, but I'm not like I just fundamentally look out in the world and I'm like I wish this was better.
Yeah.
And a rising tide lifts all boats. It would also be great for me if these things were better. So like, it's not entirely altruistic,
Right. That was the word I was looking for. Thank you.
Okay.
I was like, what's the word when you're trying to help other people and be better for humanity? Okay. I did not know this. Wishes on Midsummer's Eve, June 23rd, are most likely to come true. So that's passive wish making.
Okay. I haven't heard of that one either.
Okay. So June 23rd. Make a note. Make a wish. It will most likely come true. I would like to host SNL.
Ooh, I
know.
Okay.
If Elon Musk can do it, so can I.
I mean, like, yeah,
the bar is low. Or high, or whatever. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I like it a lot, actually.
Yeah. I would be a page just to see what happens, right?
Yeah.
To be a fly on the wall.
I'm sure it'd be like deeply stressful. Like,
yeah.
if they do a week,
you don't sleep for a whole week.
Yeah. Everything I hear about it is like, we love it, but we all have anxiety and have had nervous breakdowns basically because of it. It's like, yeah, okay. Cool, I guess.
Yeah. But like, while Lauren is still there and maybe Tina Fey would guest star.
Yeah. Okay. You never know. Let's see what the next few years bring.
Right. Oh, I forgot to tell you this. It's on my What's Occurring. They're going to start giving out Golden Globes for podcasts.
I've heard about this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, right. So everyone, maybe this will be my June 23rd wish.
That's one of the parts of the EGOT, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Sweet.
Oh, yes.
Right.
Oh, don't worry.
No, it's a Grammy. No, it's not.
Is it Grammy? Maybe it's Grammy, not Golden Globe.
Grammy.
Maybe it's a Grammy, not Golden Globe.
I mean, like, it's still a G. It counts when we get it inevitably. Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Right,
Yeah, no, it's the Golden Globes. Okay. Because I had to look in my brain and my memories.
Of course.
What would you wish for Midsummer's Eve?
I I really would love to just like travel constantly and like experience, like I would just like love to like go year about and live in like different countries and like really kind of immerse myself, because like the time I spent in Korea and the time I spent in Taiwan, where I was actually obviously hanging out with quite a few Westerners, but you really do have to like, you do see such a much bigger slice of what that world actually looks like. So yeah, I would love to just be continually doing that.
That was on my list too. And I think it's like I would need breaks, but like on the whole, like even just going like walking across the border to Tijuana, I just like feel more alive in general when I'm
I hear you,
experiencing the rest of the world outside of my little area here.
Yep. No, I hear you. I love it. I've only got one more. Should we do one more?
Yeah. What are we at?
Do you have more?
I have, some are boring. Okay, so I know something similar to this. Hold your breath and make a wish while crossing a short straight bridge. So I've heard it as hold your breath in a tunnel. Like if anytime you drive through a tunnel, you have to hold your breath the whole time. Which like if it's the Lincoln Tunnel, sorry, you're probably gonna not make it out the other side. But yeah, it's a thing. You gotta hold your breath.
Interesting. I like that. Okay, it's good.
The crossing a short straight bridge, that I haven't heard. So that's like that's folklore. I don't know why that would be.
It's a good one though. I thought I would have heard of more of these, but there you go.
I know. And there are ones that's okay. I'm just gonna rapid fire a few of them.
Yep.
Make a wish on the first robin you see in the spring.
Okay.
Find a penny, wear it in your left shoe, and your wish will come true. Which is like
that sounds familiar.
Penny loafers. I had penny loafers.
Okay.
Because I was a nerd and I wore them with socks. Because Michael Jackson ruined that for everyone. Nerd. Blow out your candles on your cake, make a wish. Throw a coin in a fountain and make a wish when the water clears so you can see your reflection. I like that one. Make a wish on the wishbone. Did you guys do wishbones?
Yeah.
Okay, so that the person that gets the largest piece of the bone, when you crack it, gets the lucky break in the wish. So, and that's like, that was not an exhaustive search. That was like the first thing that came up in my mind palace.
I thought I would know. Yeah, I thought I would know most of them, but that's pretty fascinating. Yeah, good list.
Thanks, babe. So, what wish do you want for all of those?
All right. So my last one is that I wish, and this is I'm going to have to explain this a little bit.
Okay.
But I wish I could like remove people's mental health conditions.
Yeah.
Now, I understand that that's a complex thing, and that's not, and there's not, an easy kind of. Obviously, mental health is deeply complex, but I wish I could lift away the painful aspects of it, because life is tough enough as is, and people don't need that extra shit on top of that. So yeah, that's some real. Like, if you gave a genie that wish, they'd be like, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know where to start with this shit, but like that's a really kind of blue sky thing that I'm thinking, because like I know a lot of people who have a variety of different mental health issues, and I also experience how tough that is at times, and it's not it, and it needs to go as far as I'm concerned. So I wish it was gone.
I love that. It's very kind of you. Again, altruistic and lovely.
Not entirely. Once again, I also would like to get rid of my own shit. So
right, I was going to say that, like, your stuff, but also, like, then if you're doing it for you, then you could do it for everyone else.
If it helps me too. I'm not going to complain. But yeah. So yeah.
No, that's sweet. I think, let's see. Okay. I wish someone, or maybe me, created things that lasted like your whole life, like light bulbs, or like pants that you love, or pair of shoes that are the best. They just lasted forever. And I
Like,
feel like that
yeah.
was like a thing for a while, and then people were like, "Oh no, we can actually make these last less time
And then we can sell them
and
another
sell them
one.
another
Yeah.
one." Yeah, right. And so that, and obviously like fast fashion came after all of that, but it's
Yep.
also like washers and dryers and like things you see that on the side of the road outside of people's houses, and it's like,
Yep.
oh, I remember we had a house. It was a 1943 little like cottage style. It was a cute little downtown Portland cottage. Had like neon numbers outside the house, and it had the original stove from
Nice.
1943. And like
How cool.
one burner worked, the rest did not. But like we were determined to. It was the coolest
Make
thing
it.
to make it work. Yeah, and so
That
I
rocks.
think we moved in like 2009. So
Wow.
that's what I would like. I hate it when
Yeah, I love
you
it.
buy something like a refrigerator and it's gonna like you're like that's gonna break, that's gonna break, that's gonna break.
It's just inevitable.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it is really sucks, and that's
and
capitalism's a
yeah,
nightmare.
it is.
It really
And
is.
when you see in our house, we
Yeah.
have some high ceilings, so changing those light bulbs.
It's a good point. Hazardous.
And weren't you here when all the fire alarms went off?
Yes.
And like trying to like get up to shut the
Mhm.
yeah, and Mike just like crawled up and like ripped it off. He was so fucking mad, like the Hulk.
Yeah, I tends to be mad too whenever the
Like batteries
the
could
alarm's
last
going, one of those,
longer,
it's like,
right?
Mother.
Yes.
Yeah, I can completely very strongly relate to that. I love it.
So yeah, that's what I would like.
Okay, yeah, I love it. That's great. That's a few nice ones to end on there, I think. Unless you have any other ones you would really want
I
to.
mean, the basic ones, I wish I could sing. I wish it was
Yeah.
funnier. I wish it was healthier. I wish I had more clothes with pockets.
The eternal,
Yes.
the eternal wish.
Yes.
The eternal wish.
That's the big one, actually.
that is it, right? Just all utilicals all the time.
I think
Beth, is
so.
what
I
say.
know.
So many pockets.
Yeah.
So useful.
They took that idea and they just ran with it.
They really did, love it. All right. In that case, shall we get on to our last week's section
Yes.
of the podcast, which is what's been bringing you joy?
Yes.
This
We
week.
had a party.
Ooh.
I know. This is part of the reason I was like, I need stem cells. So we had
Sure.
friends fly in from all over the place.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Virginia, New York, or Connecticut, Sacramento, and San Diego, and some Washington, D.C. So it's a bunch of friends. One of them was like, we need to do a West Coast tour. And then, so they came here. We had a sleepover.
Yeah. Nice.
And it's like, like dudes in their like 50s and 60s. So,
Yep.
It's just fun to see where people end up sleeping.
Yeah.
They come out, the kids are like, Greg's asleep on the couch. And it's like 10:30 in the morning. I stayed up till 2:30 in the morning, Andy.
Whoa.
I know.
Okay, hell yeah.
I know.
Go stem
I
cells.
know. I know. And it was a blast. They stayed. We swam. We played badminton. We told all the stories, and it was so much fun. And it's just nice. Like, I forget what it's like to be around large groups of people.
Yeah.
And
That rocks.
it's so just good friends, good times.
Good.
Yeah,
Well, that sounds
yeah.
lovely. I'm very
And I
happy
could
to
enjoy
hear
it.
Yeah, this is also huge. Amazing. I love it.
I bet you.
What I was thinking about whenever you were talking about having the party was as you taking stem cells like when Popeye gets spinach?
Yes. Literally.
If only you could squeeze a can of stem cells and shoot them up
Yeah.
and cats.
Yeah.
We'll work on that.
And
Anyway,
I eat all
right,
the
okay.
spinach. I pop by the yes.
Exactly.
Celery.
So I have a soppy one, which is
Soppy?
what can bring me joy. Soppy.
Okay. Am I gonna cry?
I don't think maybe. My girlfriend can bring me joy.
Yay. Me too, actually.
Yeah, she rocks.
I know.
And it's just good to give her a shout out. So it's been we've only been dating a short time, but it's been really lovely, and it's just really lovely having somebody who, like, she understands me in a way that it has been tough for me to find in my life,
Yeah.
and it has been really special and wonderful, and yeah, so that's been bringing me a lot of joy, not just this week, but in a lot of the recent weeks. So I kept meaning to shout her out. and then instead just put in like a stupid TV show or something.
And I'm watching this TV show, and she's like,
well, I'm watching this show. It's like, well, God damn
I
it.
feel like other things are going on that we're doing together. I was there. We watched it.
I'm such a so materialistic.
That's lovely.
Apparently.
I will
But
say,
yeah.
I know I've wanted this for you,
Yes.
and the happiness that it's bringing, it's clear and it's evident. So
Yes, absolutely. And it rocks.
that's a
It really
great
does.
thing to be grateful for and to bring you joy.
I agree completely. Very much so. Love it. Okay.
Does she like the Utilikilt?
Yes, she
There you
does. But she is trying to steal my poncho, so a mixed bag.
That's true.
You know?
Okay, yeah.
She's already stolen a lot of my clothes, and I and it's fine, but like I've told her I'm drawing the line in the sand over my poncho. She's not getting it, though. She's determined to get it, so we'll see how that plays
It
out.
traveled
over
very
months.
far to get where it's gotten.
Really
it's had a
did.
lot of adventures.
And I have wanted a poncho for so long, and now that I found a poncho that I love, I've told her she's got a tough fight in her hands, but we'll see how it goes. So yeah. All right, Beth, can you tell everybody where they can find us?
Find us at bendypodcast.com, and all over the internet, on all the places.
All over.
Oh, we're just everywhere.
We are everywhere. Love it. All right, folks. In that case, as always, we'd like to remind you to Bendy. On the Wish episode,
I know, it was so
that was
good.
the thing we really wished for was more lung capacity, and we got it, everyone. We got it.
Wished on the penny on my
love
left
you.
shoe. Bye. Love you. Bye.
Exactly. Bye. Bye. Bye.